firing to report. Adam Schefter is going to join us when he can. Brian Callahan, head coach, Tennessee Titans, fired 4-19 start in his career. What do you make of this decision?
Well, a lot of people anticipated it. This could take place according to how they played this year. But when you look at this, it's kind of interesting. They draft a young quarterback,
right. Yep, Cam
first
Ward.
pick, and you have a coach in place, and now all of a sudden that coach is gone. So you're going to bring in a new head coach next year. The relearning of this young quarterback is part of the issue that I look at when I see this happening. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just that's the reality of it all. But that's part of the NFL.
So they're 1-5 this season. Obviously,
Yes.
that went into this decision. But we heard Cam Ward, that quarterback that you're talking about, mention the fact that this team was really bad. He used different words to describe it. Do you think that that public announcement had something to do with this firing?
Well, I just think, yeah, losing is never good, right? I mean that's just part of the deal. And when you have a young quarterback, he was a little frustrated the fact that he wasn't playing well. He's used to, but this NFL. I mean, a lot of these young guys struggle their first year. That's just part of it. Going forward, now all of a sudden, the question will be this. When they pick the head coach, does he have a say of who the head coach will be going forward?
Oh, yeah.
Be interesting, just to see.
Yeah, and look, when you draft a quarterback number 1 overall,
number uno, first off the board.
You're attaching your entire stay to that quarterback.
Yeah.
So now if you're the Titans, you got to hire someone to make that draft pick look good and worth the part.
Well, and we've seen this, the history of the NFL tells you this. When you draft a quarterback number 1 and you don't get it right, this can set your organization back a decade.
No question.
A decade.
Yeah.
You look at some of the teams that have drafted quarterbacks in the first round, it didn't work out. They end up staying with that guy about 4 years, then they go get another one, and it doesn't work again. So all of a sudden, it's that's 10 years sometimes. Organizations go through this transition of trying to find the quarterback and the coach to make it work.
Yeah. When you think about quarterbacks that get taken number 1 overall, like Cam Ward does, a lot of them don't do well because they are on the worst team in the NFL. So what does Cam Ward need in a head coach moving forward?
Well, I think, first of all, he needs a head coach that will build the offense around his skill set, right? And then obviously bring players in that can match that. I mean, that's the whole key to success of these quarterbacks. You see a lot of quarterbacks in today's world in the NFL have resurrected their careers, have gone other places, and we see it. Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, exactly.
He's an MVP candidate.
Right.
Daniel Jones. I mean, they've gone to different teams, and they've been successful. So a lot of it has to do with the organization, the head coach. Are you willing to use a system that would allow the quarterback to be successful?
And by the way, we saw this last year with the Bears.
Yeah.
They drafted Caleb Williams. They fired their head coach. They had to go find an offensive-minded coach to develop him.
And Caleb Williams is starting to look like a different quarterback all of a sudden.
Exactly.
We'll see what happens with the first vacancy in the NFL today. Titans firing their head coach. When Adam Schefter is available, we'll have him there. But last night got interesting. Sunday Night Football, Chiefs dominated the Lions 30-17. Patrick Mahomes threw for 3 touchdowns, ran for another, and Kansas City had no turnovers and no penalties. Really a complete beatdown. The Chiefs receiving corps is coming along together. Hollywood Brown catching 2 TDs, Xavier Worthy another. Lions defense was missing 3 key corners and couldn't keep up. So you've got a game last night where the Chiefs struggling a little bit, but they seemed to get it going last night on Sunday Night Football.
Well, the Chiefs made a statement. They're back. And they out-physicaled the Detroit Lions.
Right.
And it was intentional. They knew the Lions were coming in. They were the hot team. The Chiefs have kind of been, they've been winning, but it's like, Last night, they ran the football. They ran, it was intentional. And Mahomes ran some as well. They were very balanced, 30 and 29, and, balanced run pass. And we're a physical football team last night on both sides of the ball. So beware, the Chiefs are starting to roll again.
They're starting to figure things out, and they get Rashee Rice back in their next game against the Raiders, so that'll be huge for them. Obviously, they had a lot of offensive issues at the beginning of the season. We have to talk about something that happened late in this game. Chiefs receiver Juju Smith-Schuster, He blocked safety Brian Branch in the back. There was no call. After the game was over, Branch was clearly upset, hit Smith-Schuster in the face. That led to more chaos on the field. Branch did say later that his actions were childish. Herm, what is your reaction to everything that went down after this game?
Well, obviously, first of all, their head coach addressed it. This is a class organization when you think about the Detroit Lions. And you never want to be put in this situation. This is the National Football League. This is the standard of how football is played and how players conduct themselves, win, lose, or draw. And so when you look at this, and the player apologized because he got emotional. This is a bad look. You don't want to see this. This is the highest standard you could play at, the National Football League. And whether these players, believe it or not, I've said it, and I've been involved in this league over 30 years playing and coaching, the one thing you realize, no player, no coach is bigger than the Shield. Mm-hmm. The Shield is the biggest thing the National Football League owns. And we all play under and coach under the Shield. And how we conduct ourselves is a part of not only winning games and losing games, but a part of being in the National Football League. Look, I get emotional. He got emotional. I get it. It's just a bad look. Because now we're talking about it again.
That's right.
Everybody's
we're
talking
coming
about
out of
that
a game that was a good
rather than the game.
That's
right.
Yeah.
We're talking about that rather than the game.
Yeah.
It's just
I didn't mention that part. He kind of walked. Mahomes was trying to give him a high five. He walked past him and went straight over to Smith-Schuster. So
It's a post-game cheap shot.
it's a bad look. Yeah, exactly.
Bad.
First-year head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. He can't figure this thing out. And the Cowboys are 2-3-1. The defense continues to struggle.
Yeah, but the offense is the number one offense in the National Football League. And kudos to Dak Prescott. I mean, that at the end of the day, Dak Prescott is playing fantastic football. If they're scoring about 30 points a game. If the defense could just hold people to 24, they would win some games. But the defense is giving up 30 plus, and then they can't win any games. But it is bad. And here's the really sad part. Now everybody's looking at Parsons, right? That you got rid of him, but I don't know if he could help them.
No. People are focusing a lot on Michael Parsons. I get it. He's one really good player.
But he can't
But
stop
is he going to fix the back
No.
end? So maybe a couple of other sacks and quarterback rushes. We do have Adam Schefter with us now. And Adam, let's stay with the Cowboys for a second. I'm going to get to the breaking news in a minute because we want to get your perspective on that. But let's stay with the Cowboys for a second because that was the topic. Any word on potential trade deadline activity they might have to get this thing right?
You know, Matt, they got a lot of defensive issues. One guy in a trade is not going to solve their issues. They've allowed a passer in Russell Wilson to throw for the most yards in an NFL game this season. They have allowed Rico Dowdle to have the most scrimmage yards in a game this season. They can look all they want, but the fact of the matter is that they're not going to find somebody that's going to solve their defensive ailments with one trade. That's not how it's going to happen. They can continue to look around for ways to improve their roster, and they will. But it's not going to be one guy that comes in through a trade that's going to get this done.
All right, so we do want to talk about the breaking news off the top of the show. Brian Callahan, Titans head coach, fired, the first in the NFL to lose his job this season. What can you tell us about this?
This is the first head coach to be fired this season. And I can tell you that the owner was impatient and the owner wants results. And if we look at what the Titans have done, they have fired Mike Vrabel. They have fired general managers John Robinson, Rand Carthon. They have now fired Brian Callahan. They have gone through any number of coaches here. If you take a look at the list, like I mentioned, they fire Vrabel, they fire Rand Carthon, they fire John Robinson. They now fire Callahan as the first head coach to be let go. And it comes at a time, oddly enough, where Mike Vrabel, their former head coach, is leading the New England Patriots into Tennessee this weekend. Who could have scripted this one? The NFL. Only the NFL could have Mike Vrabel coming back to Nashville in a week in which the Titans fire their head coach for a job that he used to have for a franchise that is on the rebound in New England, in the New England Patriots. So Vrabel will coach his team up against the Titans and whoever they decide to appoint as the interim head coach. We're still waiting to get that word any moment now, and we'll see how that transpires.
What do you want
Just to make a comment on what Schefter just said, the New England Patriots, they're probably going to win the division.
And they look good.
Yeah, they do look really good.
They're legit.
Yeah.
They're a legit football team. Coach Grable has got these guys
win
playing.
the division over Buffalo?
They might. They already beat Buffalo in Buffalo. They beat Buffalo in Buffalo.
They did.
They have a chance to challenge the Buffalo Bills to win this division.
All right, we'll see what happens. Okay, Schefty, as we wrap up Week 6 in the NFL, what injuries do you have your eye on this week?
Puka Nacua has a sprained ankle right now, and he's day-to-day. We'll see how that transpires. but they don't know whether he'll be able to play this upcoming weekend in London against the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's certainly one of the injuries that we'll be watching this upcoming weekend. There are a lot of injuries yesterday, but that's one we're watching. And now we have Emeka Egbuka as well. He suffered a hamstring injury yesterday. He is going to undergo testing tomorrow to determine how much time he's going to miss. But obviously he's going to miss some time with this hamstring injury right now that forced him to leave the game yesterday against the 49ers. They're already missing Chris Godwin. He won't be back this week either. And Marvin Harrison Jr. is now in concussion protocol. So it's a situation where he has to clear through protocol. Going to be tough to do that in 1 week. We'll see whether or not he can get that done. But he's up in the air until that happens.